Hey guys, Hook to Clash here, and today we're doing another episode of Abnormal Armies. This is number 6, I believe. I can't believe we've made it this far through the series. I'm still really enjoying it, even though, honestly, this was my least favorite army so far. And as you can see, the army here is Zap Mass Hybrid. Now, often when you see the Zaps, you'll see Lalo, or if not Lalo, for the Hogs, or maybe Drags. But you don't really see hybrid, and we're about to find out why you don't really see hybrid today. I will say I really struggled with this, but there were a few other factors at play that we'll go throughout the video. As you can see, this base here is sort of an anti-3 base, so it's not as much a Legends base that you see, honestly. This is one you'd more see in War, so we can probably take more from this base for War rather than Legends. As you can see, the only zap value I can get on this base is this RC here. However, because she's in range of the Warden, it takes 8 zaps to take her out. And obviously, because I've only got 7, I won't be able to take her out. But I do a few... I get a little lucky, plus do some neat little tricks to counter that. So as you can see, we'll start the replay here. It's probably going to be a while, so we'll just talk through it and kind of go through my quick plan. So I was going to zap the RC and the CC, and I think I do that right here, actually. Yep. And then the plan is I will Quake this single Inferno down the bottom and hit all of that. And essentially I'm going to RC trick in there. Now, obviously my RC trick won't quite take out the single, but with the Quake it will leave it on a one-shot. And I get pretty fortunate with this Ice Golem here. The plan was for the Ice Golem or for the Hog to tank the single. And look what this Ice Golem does. Holy moly, that was a good freeze. And then the RC takes out the single, then the enemy RC. So this was value galore here for the RC, and it sets up a really good push into the Town Hall. We'll just 2 times through the start of this. As you can see, it's pretty... The only way I wasn't getting this Town Hall is if the Queen did some crazy stuff, but she doesn't do it. She comes back nicely here for the Skellies. We get a really nice wall breaker in. Unfortunately, I used a freeze there. I don't think I should have used that. I think I should have just popped my Queen. She would have taken out the Town Hall. Now, obviously, because I've already used my RC, and I will actually pause it now. It's one of the interesting things with this army. You don't have to use the RC with the Sui. You can save her for your hybrid, potentially. But obviously on this one, if I wanted to get value from my Sui, I had to use the RC. So that's something you have to consider in a lot of your attacks. Do you need the RC so your Sui gets value? If so, use it like that. If not, then try and use it with your hybrid. As you can see, I'm using the Siege Barracks up the top here. It's creating a reasonable funnel. Unfortunately, the P.E.K.K.A. does go in, and all the wizards are getting picked off. But we've got a nice little... We've got good pathing through this base, honestly. Given that all I've used is heroes and you know, zaps. I'm pretty happy with that. Great Warden as well. We get just about everything in it. Negate the Eagle, the Queen. In saying that, I wonder if it was too early. Because as you can see here, you've only got the 2 heals and the Warden for this. And we've already used all of our healing capabilities or damage negation abilities. And yeah, look, we had a lot up, but it's slowly all dying out here. Obviously, not having the RC for the mass hybrid is huge because she could clear out everything that's left up here. But because we had to use her on the Sui, and she got great value for the Sui, taking out a single and an RC is really good value. But unfortunately, as you can see here, it's just gonna fade out towards the end here. This Warden tries his best, but yet again, we get around the 80% mark, and I will give you guys a hint on the other hits. 80% is kind of the barometer for this attack, sadly. So that was hit number 1. We will jump into the next hit. And this was... you know what, I'll spoil it. This was the only triple I got for the day. And now, I will add something to that statement, and you will see it in some of the future bases. Because I started the day at 5,500, it kind of hurt the analysis that I can make from this. Because obviously at 5,500, everyone's trying to stop like the Zap Lalos. So as a result, any Zap attack is really weak up here. And that's something that I completely forgot before I started this day. And once I started it, it was very frustrating trying to figure out how to triple on these bases that are trying hard to stop Zap Lalo. And if they're stopping Zap Lalo, they're going to stop Zap Hybrid easy. Because I just don't see any situation where Zap Hybrid is stronger than Zap Lalo, honestly. Even if you run triple multi, I'd much rather Lalo it than hybrid it. It's just how it is. Anyways, but this was one of the few bases all day where you could get that crazy zap value that you see on a lot of the lower Legends Leagues bases. So we're actually going to put a lot of value on this attack here in terms of my rating of them, because obviously a lot of these armies we do, they're stupid, right? They're not something that you would try in high Legends, whereas they are definitely something you could try in low Legends, and that's what this series is about, right? Trialing stuff that you could potentially use in low Legends for some fun. So I think if you run into a lot of bases like this strategy actually has a chance. As you can see, we're not wasting any time with the siege barracks. The king and queen's job is to just go up the top there and clear out everything up there. As you can see, my queen barely doesn't have to use her ability. That's nice. She's going to continue going around the outside. Now, I didn't create a good funnel. I kind of wanted to get rid of these two expos on the Sui, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with that. Great value from the Sui there. And we're going to go straight into this, I don't know what to call it. It's not really a high damage area, just straight into the base. That first heal's pretty trash, admittedly. It doesn't really do a whole lot. I should have hung onto it. This next heal will be nice, but as you can see, 1 miner activates the Town Hall. Obviously doesn't really do any damage to it, and we are in a world of hurt at the moment. The Hogs are trying their absolute best, but the Town Hall has locked onto the Warden. Now, I've still got the Warden ability. I've actually forgotten about it at this stage that I've got the Warden. Kind of a godly freeze, let's be honest. I was pretty happy with that one when it came down to it. The Warden ability, I tried to save it as late as possible to deal with the Town Hall, but yeah, it just doesn't end up being quite enough there. But we've still got the RC ability. We've still got a few Hog Raiders. We've still got a lot of miners on the bottom of the base that you can't see in shot here. So we wait for the RC to take the multi down, and then bam, she's gonna unfortunately lose the battle to the Town Hall. But as you can see, there's a lot of miners on the bottom of the base here, and they had just enough to clean it up. So a lot of things can be ascertained from this attack. One, it can triple when you get lots of zap value, because aside from that Town Hall not going down, that base was pretty wrecked. But two, like, you've got to be so careful of these bases with core Town Halls. Like, what are you going to do on those anti-2s? You don't really have a bailout plan because you need the siege barracks to funnel the hybrid. Otherwise, you're stuffed, right? And that's one of the benefits of Hogs. You don't need any funnel troops. Sure, you can bring the siege barracks because A, you get the Hogs with it, but B, the P.E.K.K.A. and Wizards can take out outside defenses like bomb towers, for instance. But with the hybrid, you have to use the siege barracks to funnel, otherwise you're kind of stuffed. The miners went to the outside on that with a good funnel, so take what you want from that. It was a triple, it can be done again, but I am kind of worried about the strat at this point in time. We'll jump into this one, and we are showing this because this is one of the downsides of this strategy. What do you do on a base where you can't get any zap value? What do you do? I have no idea what I can tell you guys to do here. I'm not even going to show the attack, honestly. I just wanted to point out to you guys that this attack has some serious downfalls. Now, you can still probably get these bases with Zap Lalo. I think Lalo's so much stronger than the mass hybrid that you can pull off this with that. But with the hybrid, I just don't feel it as much. Because with hybrid, it's literally all about the pathing, whereas Lalo can deal with bad pathing, but hybrid really can't, or it can to a lesser extent. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're going to run into bases like this in Legends, do not use this attack strategy. Going to jump into this one here. This was a relatively successful attack. Obviously, you saw it got to 93%. But there was one thing I liked that I kind of learnt in this attack. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of zap value, but it's not like ridiculous. Getting a hero is nice, but you'd much rather get like a scatter shot or even a multi in the core of the base. But what I couldn't figure out though is how to set up the best pathing for my hybrid, and then I had a crazy plan. And I kind of do mess up the zaps here, by the way. I don't know why I did it this way, but it works that way. I decided I'm not going to get enough zap value zapping the CC at this point. I just didn't really like the zap value, so I go for 7 zaps, but I hit the bomb tower, which is obviously nice for the, nice for the hybrid. There we are. but not getting the queen is probably a little worse. Now, as you can see, I use the Quake on the top side to damage up there, and my plan at the moment is to use the queen on the bottom for a funnel, then the Siege Barracks, King, and RC on the top side, I believe, or maybe it's just Siege Barracks, Ice Golem, and King on the top side, and then, yeah, looks like I use my RC down the middle, and just basically hybrid through the core of the base. Now, the CC is still up, obviously, but the one positive is a lot of these CCs are going to be like these trash CCs, and yes, it takes a while for the miners to get all through it, but when you have this many, you can generally get away with it. I'll pop my Warden ability. Oh, I was a little late on that. I probably should have attempted to pop it there. That's not a bad pop, to be honest. It's not a bad pop at all. And as you can see, we've got the hogs from the Siege Barracks coming out on the top side, clearing that side of the funnel. And then it's just about healing. I've got so many Headhunters coming in here. Look at them. Bam. They wreck the 2 defensive heroes. And at this point, it's just how much base can I get through? I have used my second heal there, but there isn't a lot of base left at this point. It's just the Eagle and the single. We're speeding it up here. I had to pop my RC ability a bit earlier than I wanted. And unfortunately, she dies because, as you can see, the last troops up here are the miners. And that normally happens with the hybrid anyway, but because you have less like distance or base to hybrid, when you're doing like the Queen Charge hybrids, that's like okay, because normally by the time the RC gets exposed, because obviously miners go underground exposing the RC, normally by the time the hogs are died, most of the base is gone. But as you can see there, most of the base was not gone by the time the hogs died. This still got really close. There was just one cannon up, but unfortunately, we couldn't do a lot to take it out. We tried our absolute best, but it just wasn't happening for us there. Now we'll jump into the last attack I am showing you guys. Let me find it quickly, sorry. I must have missed it. Ah, here we are, sorry. Sorry about the wait there. Now, this is another base that I'm going to put a high weight of my rating of this strategy on. This is a very common legend style. You have 3 singles on the top, 4 bows on the bottom with the Eagle, and normally the 2 scatter shots and the CC in between. So what do you do here? Thankfully, there's reasonable zap value. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put 5 zaps on one of the scatters and 2 on the other, and then Quake all of it. By doing that, so the 5 zaps and 1 Quake takes out a scatter shot, and a 2 zaps and a Quake leave this scatter shot being vulnerable to the RC shield. The RC shield, if it hits the scatter shot, her shield ability that is, will take it out. So as we can see, we get rid of the left one there, damage the right one, but I end up not actually using the RC for the for the scatter shot. I didn't think I could pull it off, but what I go for instead, I actually really like this idea. So I use the RC. I don't know if I needed the Siege Barracks there. I don't actually know if it gets any value. That was probably a bad call. But as you can see, the RC here gets a really nice funnel. I don't know if she takes out this cannon in the core or not, but she doesn't have to. Oh, she does. Look at the funnel I've set for this hybrid. Now, I didn't need to use the Siege Barracks there. That was a mistake. I should have used it up with my King and Queen. And unfortunately, my King went left here. And he's about to get locked onto by the single Inferno somehow, despite there being so much hybrid there. So he's kind of swagged in this attack, honestly. And I think, so the P.E.K.K.A. and the King were kind of swagged. I think if I don't swag them, this is a potential triple here. So this army definitely has some potential. Nice Warden ability there. Unfortunately, Skellies pull everything off the Town Hall, but when you have that many hogs going to the Town Hall, you don't really need the miners to take it out. As you can see, we lose a lot of troops there. There's a lot of skeletons there, so that heal was slightly late. But as we can see, we're going to run into the same problem as before. If we had the RC backing up all this now, this is probably a triple, but without the RC backing it all up, it's not a triple. It's close without being like that close. As you can see, there's 4 Expos and an Eagle Artillery up, so it's not too close, but it's not too far either. A few minor fixes, and I think it can work. So as you can see, we'll go into the log now for yesterday, and man, oh man, just aside from getting 218, which is pretty average based on what we're doing, unfortunately we lost 253. So I will end kind of towards the end of this video say that I'm probably not going to do another Abnormal Armies during this season. How long's left in it? 18 days. Unfortunately, that is a long time, but I did actually want to push to the top this season because it is a 5-week season. It only happens every so often. And obviously with Tribe trying to get to Worlds, we were all pushing anyway. So I kind of wanted to see if I could get to 5,800. And yesterday's minus 35 kind of threw us off a little bit. So I'll probably not do another Abnormal Armies for a few weeks now. I hope that's all okay with you guys. I'd still love to hear some of your ideas. I'm kind of running short on ideas for armies in Legends, so drop some in the comments as always. Anyways, we'll come out of this and we'll go into the cool spreadsheet we've got. Bam! There it is for you all. So as you can see, we put in the data there. So Zap Mass Hybrid, 218. Look at that. We have a 218, a 219, and another 218. But obviously we have to take it into account that we started at 5336 here, whereas the other strategies started a little bit lower. So what do we rate this? We are going to rate this a 5.5, which is probably lower than you expected. But there is one reason I'm rating this so low. There are better alternatives for using the zaps, right? If you're gonna use zaps, and you don't like Lalo, just use Hogs. Hogs are pretty user friendly. They do die quickly, so you have to be good on the spells, but you don't have to do all this tedious funneling. I find that the Zap Mass Hybrid is very tedious. Like, if you make mistakes, you will be punished for them, whereas with the Hogs, less so, because obviously Spring Traps are an absolute wild card in Legends. Some of the time they're really good, some of the time they're in the most random spots, some of the time they're in between 2 gold storages for whatever reason. So we'll rate it 5.5, the same as the Super Valks. They got about the same amount of cups, so it makes sense. But I will say the Super Valks were a lot more fun than the Zap Mass Hybrid. I just found this to be kind of frustrating. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think of the Zap Mass Hybrid, and obviously any other ideas for future videos. Thanks for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I see you soon.